We can hear you.
That's great. That's great. So, may I start, sir? If that's the case.
I'll commence.
Yeah, sure.
We have about 50 plus people, 64 people who have joined today. So thank you all for joining us, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the special SpaceTech webinar series on Tamil Nadu space policy. Today's session will be an important step to foster the growth of space industry in the state of Tamil Nadu, as well as help in furthering Tamil Nadu's ambition to emerge as a hub for space technology and innovation, aligning with India's broader aspirations in the space sector. Today, we are honored to have Wing Commander P Madhusoodhanan, retired, who is the Vice President, Aerospace and Defense at the Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, who will walk us through the vision, objectives, and implementation strategies of this pioneering policy. We look forward to gaining valuable insights into how Tamil Nadu plans to support startups, build infrastructure, and foster talent in this high potential domain. I strongly encourage each of you to actively participate in today's webinar and take full advantage of this opportunity and clarify any questions or uncertainties that you may have. Q&A session at the end after the talk, and you may raise your hand for your questions, or in case you have network issues, you can type your questions in the chat box. Wing Commander Madhusoodhanan is a former IF officer of the engineering branch. He took voluntary retirement in 2016. He is an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and IIT Mumbai. He has previously worked at HCL Technologies and presently as the Vice President Aerospace and Defense at TIDCO. He is instrumental in driving the state's initiatives to establish a robust aerospace and defense ecosystem, aligning with national objectives such as the Defense Industrial Corridor. So we look forward to an insightful session. Wing Commander Madhusoodhanan, all yours.
Thanks a lot for the introduction. And ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. And firstly, let me apologize for joining from a mobile platform. I'm joining from a car. I'm on the road in Bangalore from one place to another. So I will turn off my camera so that the disturbance is minimized. And you may have to bear with the background noises from the city of Bangalore as well. Pardon me for that as well. Let me take a plunge into the presentation right away. Let me share my screen. Just give me a moment. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible. If it's visible, one of you can give me a feedback so that I can go ahead with the presentation.
Yes, you are. We can see the presentation.
Thanks a lot, sir, for the confirmation. Yes. So the next few minutes, I'll be talking about what is the vision of Government of Tamil Nadu for the space industrial sector, and towards achieving this vision, what are the various interventions which we have planned across multiple fronts. And one of the most significant stuff is the space industrial policy, which has been announced and which has been released as well. Okay. If you look at just a quick recap of history, Indian space journey started with the establishment of ISpA way back in 1962. It's more than 60 years since we started the space journey, but it has been taking small steps, then large steps, and finally, from the early 2000s, the expansion has been due to wonderful innovative measures and global outreach, primarily driven by ISRO. The Indian space program has been an ISRO program for long and supported by the private industry as well. And this was aided by gradual opening up of the market to the commercial players. Now, if you talk today, there are plenty of commercial players in this field. From a one player, ISRO, to multiple players, it's a reality. And what's going to define the space sector in the future are that it is going to be international collaboration, knowledge sharing is going to be a significant one. There is a ecosystem which is going to be developed, and also keep in mind the sustainable development goals. There is going to be continuous innovation so that productivity is improved, and the traditional industries, how can they get into this space sector? because we need more people. Then, being more commercialized, currently there is reliance is primarily on the government spending in the space sector. And how is it going to be commercialized more with a lot of private companies using it? And there is also an increased emphasis of the armed forces, by the armed forces, around the space domain, which we have seen in the past few days. The story is well laid out in front of us, how the space domain helped us achieve whatever we achieved. What we in Tamil Nadu has been doing is we want to leverage the space policy which has been issued by the government of India in 2023. So in line with the vision of the space policy 2023, the Indian space policy. So what we look at is that we aspire the state to become a global technology hub for space technology. And this is across multiple upstream, downstream, as well as midstream, to attract global investors, partners, and create value addition in the state and also employment. Then we aim to have a boost to the space related manufacturing, and hence finally become the preferred destination for the space industry. And one of the most important thing is we want to foster and support business and entrepreneurship in the space technology. We do not, in the state, like the government of India, which has a ISRO arm is there, in the state, we do not have an arm dealing with space technologies. We do not have it. But despite that, how do we ensure that the space technology absorption takes place in the governance, day-to-day governance, thereby providing more support and more opportunities for entrepreneurship? That's a way. So we did undertake a study. Okay, I represent a company called as TIDCO, which is Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. It's a company owned by government of Tamil Nadu. It is a strategy and investment arm of the government of Tamil Nadu. My organization decides which are the sectors of industry in which this state government is supposed to focus on, so that more wealth and better quality of life is given to people. So like I'm part of the aerospace and defense sector within this organization, in which aerospace and defense consists of aeronautics, space, and military. So likewise, there are multiple sectors. So within this sector in which I deal with, along with my team, I'm not a single person. So we did based on the various numbers which are projected along with the industry partners, we did a study to see what is the various market potential, and the numbers are in front of you. I'm very sure that each one of the audience would have had a look at these numbers with a bit of variation from various forums. So we know very well that there are multiple segments, and within these segments, there is a lot of scope for industries. The key thing is, how are we going to benefit from this potential? So why should Tamil Nadu be considered for the space industry? What is the advantage which Tamil Nadu has? There is an existing space ecosystem in the state, but it would be a pretty surprising statement in case for people who hear. ISRO facilities are predominantly, which has been driving the space industry, have been predominantly in around Bangalore, Hyderabad, Trivandrum, and Gujarat to an extent. But despite that, I claim that existing space ecosystem is there. We have a very interesting statistic here. The ISRO facilities of Bangalore are within about 50 kilometers from Tamil Nadu. The ones at Trivandrum are also about 70 kilometers from Tamil Nadu. The one at Sriharikota are just across the border, just a stone throw across the river channel, across the backwater, the Pulicat Lake. And we already have a few small ISRO facilities here and a lot of ISRO suppliers here. So there is an ecosystem. Not only that, the ecosystem which is needed to support the space industry is predominantly manufacturing, high-tech, electronics, propellants, and other stuff. We are good in all these things. We are the number one in automotive. We are the number one in electronics. We are good in propellants. We are good in we are good in almost all the segments. That is the reason why the state is the number 2 in GDP contribution to the country. There is a skill resource base. Let me talk the numbers. Tamil Nadu produces something like 150,000 engineers every year, which is the highest in the country. We produce something like 120,000 diploma holders and about 120,000 ITA, which is second only to Maharashtra. There is a skill, the maximum number of PhDs in the country are from Tamil Nadu. So there is a resource existing skill base. The maximum number of research institutes authorized by Government of India are in Tamil Nadu. Logistics and connectivity, this has large number of ports, 3 major ports, 4 international airports, 2 domestic airports, and if I include the airports of Bangalore, Cochin, Trivandrum, which are very close from the border, so the connectivity wise is very good. Design and testing infrastructure. Even in the aerospace and defense sector in this, we are already in the process of creating 2 design centers and 4 testing centers, which can be used for space sector as well. Industrial water supply. There is a separate body company owned by Government of Tamil Nadu, which caters primarily for industrial water supply. This state has mastered the art of providing desalinated water for industries, TTRO water for industries at the places wherever the industrial parks are there. Renewable energy, the renewable energy content in the whole state is almost touching 50%. We are the #1 in wind energy. Then the most important thing is the next spaceport is coming up at Kulasegarapatnam in the southern tip of the country, from where the low Earth orbit satellites are going to be launched. And this is one of the key measures in which the private sector participation is going to peak. We already have companies like Agnikul Cosmos, Skyroot, Dhruva, which are getting ready with their rockets. 2 of them are one is going to take place. How about having the entire organization of industries around this spaceport, so that industries benefit from each other, they compete and complement with each other. So these are some of the advantages which TN has, particularly for the space industry. Some of the things which I already mentioned earlier, a summarization. Tamil Nadu is the #2 for general purpose machinery and special purpose machinery output in the country. It's the largest producer of electronics and automotive. And very interestingly, an international publication has recognized Chennai as the second best country in the world for electronics R&D. It's the second largest contributor to IT and ITS in the country. Maximum number of landing points are there in the state. Largest number of DSIR registered R&D establishments are here. On the right side, you see the various other things, spaceport, which I already mentioned. The Government of Tamil Nadu is also planning to create dedicated space industrial parks for space industries. It might be, Kerala has already created one, but we want to scale it up in a much more larger one, spread over thousands of acres. We have already coined the name of Space Base, primarily the name coming from further space industry along the Bay of Bengal, hence the name of Space Bay. The space industry is being provided a special status by the Government of Tamil Nadu, and that's the reason why we are the first provincial government in the whole world to come out with a dedicated space industrial policy. So I'm proud to say this. Nowhere in the world has any provincial government come up with any policy of this sort. And there is also a MOU which has been signed between Government of Tamil Nadu and InSpace about a year ago for supporting growth of space industries. And in the currently national budget space, 1,000 crores has been set aside for InSpace to establish some common facilities in Tamil Nadu. 100 crores for Tamil Nadu and 100 crores for Gujarat has been set aside. So these are some of the advantages which are there. Coming to the space industrial activity there. Okay, this is just to showcase where the new spaceport is coming up, and which is created by ISRO. And we are trying to create 2 space parks in the vicinity, one for propellants and one for rest of the other stuff other than propellants. So just to showcase, in case some of the people are not sure where this Kulasegarapatnam, yes, I do agree that It's a tongue twister. The name is pretty long. I think it has every alphabet in the 26 letters which is available. Probably I would suggest that the better name is it is next to a village called as Manapad. So probably we can call it Launchpad at Manapad. It will be an easy way to remember. So this is the actual location where you see, where almost south of Thoothukudi by about 50 kilometers on a beautiful seashore called as a village called as Manapad, but ISRO prefers to call it Kulasegarapatnam. So be it. And how does the state catalyze the space industrial growth? So we have identified a few sectors in which the interventions are being planned by the government of Tamil Nadu so that the industries can benefit from it. Let me start from the right side. First is skilling. The government of Tamil Nadu has created a unique, massive skilling program called as Nan Mudalvan. It means I'm the first. So what this program plans is that there is always a disconnect of the skilling needs which is required by the industry and that what is provided by the academia. So the main plan of this is to bridge this gap. Yes, we all understand in case changing the syllabus is a long run process. By the time the syllabus is changed in any university, the requirement of the industry goes ahead. So this is a fast track process wherein a few industry identified, industry driven subjects are taught as electives, compulsory electives in the final and pre-final semesters as a credit-based course, wherein the syllabus has been modified to accommodate such rapidly changing course elements also. So this has supported massive and large number of industries. And to be frank enough, we have not included space sector syllabus in this, and we would be happy to include that as well. We can do it as quick as within a period of 6 months. It can be done. So I would interact with industries here so that we can curate a syllabus which can be delivered to the students in the colleges in the final year itself. So if industries need about 10 people, we can produce 1,000 people from where you can choose. Then enable ease of doing business, incentivizing R&D, creation of space industrial hubs. How do we reduce the cost of doing business for the industries so that they become competitive? And how do you help the industries move up the value chain? These are the various measures, these are various topics on which we would initiate all our interventions so as to benefit the industries. For ease of doing business, there is a separate entity in the government of Tamil Nadu called as Guidance Tamil Nadu. As the name suggests, this is to guide the industries, not in their routine work, but everything apart from that. You know how to do it with a business, please continue with that. Whereas leave all the other stuff other than your core business to this Guidance Tamil Nadu, which would go through entire process of clearances, approvals, facilitation, connectivity with academia, connectivity with other industries, anything could be done. Sky is the limit. So this Guidance Tamil Nadu also has the Tamil Nadu single window portals for which everything is there. There is, because of this, there has been a huge ranking rise for the government of Tamil Nadu. And most important thing, there is an escalation matrix. This escalation matrix is nothing but an app. And once you punch in your problem areas, within a scheduled time, it gets escalated to the next level. And by the 46th day, it reaches to none other than the CM's office. And I can say with pride that till date, nothing has gone to the CM office. So that means almost all issues are resolved in 45 days. I would love it to be reduced to 4.5 days, but let's give it some time. And this will happen. And not only that, there are dedicated teams. There are dedicated industrial domain aligned teams. The aerospace and defense team would deal with the space, in which I am a part of it. I have few more colleagues, one Mr. Debashish Das, one Mr. Vinayagam. We have multiple people, and we would ensure that whatever is the clearances needed from various other agencies, be it government, central government or state government, is done seamlessly. And of course, we work barring our sleeping time. Okay. To give a details of what is the TIDCO and InSpace MOU, we signed this on in March 2024. This is primarily to define a framework under which space industries would be encouraged to establishing their facilities in Tamil Nadu. So TIDCO has a lot of various land availability for the industries for setting up manufacturing sector or even service sector industry. We would facilitate industries to get the approvals. We would also be handing over financial incentives to industries. We would establish common technical infrastructure which is needed for assembly, integration, testing, which would be offered to NGEs on a pay-per-use model. We would establish multiple technical common facilities which would be available to industries for use at a nominal fees, which would include technical facilities, office space, business centers, skilling centers, anything what you could think of. InSpace would advise the state government on the potential industries which would need to have some facilities. Then they would also undertake promotion and awareness of space and allied sector industries. Technical guidance would be provided by InSpace. For establishing the common technical facilities, InSpace would provide the required technical support while we would operate and we would fund to a large extent. Some of the common infrastructure which have already been established for the industries, space industries, these are established for aerospace and defense industries, which are available for the space industries also. For surface coating, we have already established at Coimbatore. We are establishing Common Engineering Facility Center, which is a huge factory with every type of machines for fabrication and testing at Coimbatore. Tatas are implementing that. It should be up and running by next March. For huge metallic fabrication, there's already facility at Trichy established by TIDCO and 82 other private sector companies. There is a facility at Hosur, Coimbatore and Chennai, which has a lot of electronic equipment which are needed by industries, by startups. Instead of them having to invest in it, it could be used at these facilities. A Space CEFC, Common Engineering Facility Center, is being planned in collaboration with InSpace. On the right side, you see various testing centers. All of them will be functional in the next few months. One for UAV testing, electronic warfare, electro-optics, EMI/EMC, and mechanical and material testing facilities, which are designed for aerospace standards, which can be used by the space industries as well. And we are willing to create more test facilities if industries need. In fact, I would say that we are trying to create, we are in the process of planning for creating a RF test facility, something on lines of this, close to Madurai, which will be close to the spaceport. We have already created a few common design centers. These are already functioning in collaboration with Dassault Systems, Siemens, and GE Aerospace. They are already functioning for the past more than 2 years at Chennai, with their spokes across the state. We have multiple spokes, so people do not need to come to Chennai for that. So the design activities could be done in these centers at a fraction of cost and without having to invest capex on these tools. Coming to the interesting part of Space Bay Industrial Park, we had planned for 2 industrial parks, as I mentioned earlier. First one is for the propellant park. We understand that the solid propellants or whatever is preferable to transport these propellants for across very short distance. There is no point in transporting this from across the country. It's always better to manufacture them right next door and transport them to the launch pad where the integration can take place. Of course, we understand there is a large buffer zone needed. It should be away from human settlements. It should be away from industrial unit. There should be sufficient water for fire protection. At the same time, there should be good connectivity. We have identified some space close to the launch pad itself where land is being acquired for the propellant industries to establish themselves. Similarly, for the space fabrication industry, which can manufacture the rocket components or the satellites themselves, whatever is there, other than propellants, we have identified the space right opposite to the Tuticorin airport, just about 5 kilometers from the airport, across the road from the airport, between two large cities, Tuticorin and Tirunelveli, on the outskirts of Tuticorin city itself, which is well connected to the port. Tuticorin has a airport, it has a seaport. Of course, now there is a spaceport also coming up. Probably this will be the only city like this which has airport, spaceport, and seaport. So this also is proximally located to social infrastructure where people can walk over for a movie in the evening or a pizza in the evening. So that's available in Tuticorin and Tirunelveli. So that's the reason why we have put it slightly away from the launch pad, about 50 kilometers away, but a traveling time of about, you can say, 45 minutes. And we are not stopping our focus only with the upstream, upstream only. We are also trying to support the downstream. So satellite database application is the largest space industry segment among all the three streams. And this does not have any locational advantage or disadvantage of having to be close to a spaceport or any other place. Generally, it's done at the larger IT locations like Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, predominantly because of the social infrastructure which it offers to people. So I have already started creating tidal Neo Park at Thoothukudi, which can support downstream industries. So they don't need to go away from the upstream facilities. So it can be co-located close by where facilities are available. And this will also host the spokes of the COEs which are already been created. Okay. And what are the initiatives which we have taken for the growth of the space industrial segment under the space policy is that we are creating center of excellence, which I already mentioned. We would be creating more common facility center. We would support innovation and R&D, both technically as well as financially. A separate Tamil Nadu SpaceTech fund will be created. In fact, in the last budget of the government of Tamil Nadu, it's already been announced. There is a SpaceTech fund has been announced. Yes, the corpus to start with is just 10 crores. It may sound that it's a very, very small sum, but it's a beginning. 10 crore has already been allocated by the Tamil Nadu cabinet for this. We would also undertake support for facilitation process, skilling development. Then we would also work out multiple. One second, please. Basement signal. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. Then industry infrastructure will augment it. The most important thing is industrial housing. As a government of Tamil Nadu, we are adopting industrial housing being created by us. We have already created something like 40,000 houses at Hosur and Sriperumbudur, one near Chennai and one at Hosur, predominantly for Tata Electronics and for Foxconn. Each one of them able to house 20,000 people. So imagine this, people working in a single place. The government creates industrial housing. Of course, nothing is free, but this has enabled the logistical ease for industries which work here. So we are willing to create industrial housing for the space industries around these space industrial parks as well. And this policy clearly lays out what are the various methods by which various government of Tamil Nadu agencies would adopt space-based technology. Let me put it in a simple term. There's no point in trying to support only the supply side. What about the demand side? While we would love that these space-based technologies can be adopted by various other enterprises, but from the government side, we are going to ensure that the state government agencies like Fishing Department, Agriculture, Transportation, they would adopt space technologies for their routine governance. Okay, coming to the most interesting part, what are the incentives which space industries which established in Tamil Nadu would be eligible for? We do not put the incentives in one bucket, one topic. We call it a basket of incentives. Multiple incentives are there, which are under various buckets. So first thing is, for any company to get its incentives, it needs to have investment. Whatever I say, there are three buckets I can say. One is below 25, one is 25 to 300, and above 300 is something else. Let me first cover the 25 to 300 part. For 25 to 300, in any investment, any company which makes an investment of 25 crores to 300 crores over a period of 3 years, they will be entitled for the following incentives. And for the incentives, there's one term which I would like to define. It is based on a proportion of the EFA. EFA is eligible fixed assets. This includes land, building, plant and machinery, R&D expenses, expenditure related to transfer of technology, any satellites or any orbital objects owned. Because here comes the beautiful thing. There is no way we can call a satellite or any orbital object as a fixed asset. But still, in this policy, we have redefined it as an orbital as a fixed asset. So whatever is invested in these topics, that is barring salaries and vehicles, everything could be included in the EFA, and a proportion of EFA would be provided as incentive. A capital subsidy, whatever a company is investing, a capital subsidy of 20% of EFA will be paid back to the company over a period of 10 years. But this will be paid back after the company becomes operational. Let's say a company decides to invest 100 crores. And once that is done, it could be done in 2 years. From that time, the clock starts and 20% of EFA, whatever is put in, that is 20 crores out of 100 crores, will be paid back over a period of 10 years, 2 crores per year. Okay. Skilling subsidy is for whatever is money is spent for skilling of human beings for resources, they will be paid back 10,000 rupees per month for up to 50 people for a period of 1 year. That means a person can be trained. If any training is done up to a cost of 1.2 lakhs per year for any one person, that will be completely paid back. Any expenditure beyond that is going to be borne by the company. There's one catch here, but these people will have to live in Tamil Nadu. They can be from any state, they have to live in Tamil Nadu. Land cost. So there are three types of districts here. A and B are the relatively more advanced districts. C district is relatively less advanced. So land, whatever is taken from the government of Tamil Nadu, 20% land subsidy is provided for A and B district, 50% for C district. And this is paid upfront. Electricity tax, whatever the electricity tax paid is waived off. Stamp duty is completely waived off. Any quality product certification, any IPR created, we are willing to bear 50% of a cost with a cap of ₹1 crore. Apart from that, any GCC or any R&D work, the white-collar work, the high-end work, in case companies are doing that, we are willing to undertake a payroll subsidy. Up to 30, we are willing to pay back 30% of the salary drawn by an individual the first year, 20% the second year, 10% the third year. But this has a cap of 20,000 rupees per month per employee. There's no problem. Any number of people can be used on this, but this is for high-end jobs. In case there are any other service sectors, because it's not only about manufacturing, there could be a lot of other service sectors which are not covered till now. So if there is any other service sectors there, we would be willing to reimburse the employer's contribution of PF for 1 year for any number of people for 48,000 rupees per year, per person. Apart from that, in case there are any investment more than 300 crores, then whatever I said will be a baseline, and on top of which the policy is very simple. Let's sit across the table. Let's discuss what would be the right number which you could arrive as incentives so that will be paid back. And whichever industries is going to establish within the space bay will be promulgated later. We would work out a special structured package for industries which establish themselves in the space base, which we are going to create. That will also be separate. In case people want to establish in the traditional place of Coimbatore, Hosur, or Chennai, that would come under normal thing. For Space Bay, irrespective of wherever it is, there will be a special structured package. That's the end of it. So I'm open to questions. I hope that I've covered most of it. And this policy would be available for viewing from tomorrow on the website of TIDCO. It will be uploaded tomorrow. I would encourage that anyone can download it. Please go through it. And of course, bricks and bouquets both are welcome. And I'm open to questions now.
Thank you very much, Madhusoodhanan. That was a very elaborate talk, and you have outlined almost everything. Though there's nothing much left for doubt. I'll just summarize some of the key points that you have covered, which are interesting, like the guidance Tamil Nadu for single window clearance, skilling initiatives, outlining the proximity of the existing space facilities to Tamil Nadu, common testing facilities, identification of common infrastructure which is common to aerospace, setting up of propellant parks and space fabrication parks near to the new launch site, the tidal neo park to support the space services downloads, creation of centers of excellence, creation of Tamil Nadu SpaceTech Fund, and various incentives which are financial in nature, especially those which are linked to the EFA, eligible fixed assets. So I really appreciate you covering all these initiatives. I'm sure this space policy of Tamil Nadu will go a long way. And now I open the floor to questions. If anyone has questions, please raise your hand, or you may type it in the chat box. And any questions, please raise your hand and go ahead. Yes. We'll just check the chat box also. Okay, if there are no questions or if someone is in the process of framing a question, let me ask the question until then. So Madhusoodhanan, you have talked about the creation of various infrastructure facilities in Tamil Nadu. Do you have any plans for generating demand of space services within the state?
Yes. As I said, in this policy, we have not stopped ourselves with creating supply part only. We are also trying to create demand side, wherein this policy clearly mentions that in fact, TIDCO will be working with various departments of the government of Tamil Nadu to ensure that space-based technologies are adopted in their day-to-day governance. And to start with, what we planned was with Fisheries Department, with Agriculture Department, and Transport Department. These are the first three which we have planned to start, and we would be driving it. We as a part of the Industries Department, TIDCO will be the nodal agency which would be driving this entire initiative within the government of Tamil Nadu so as to enhance the demand as well. Because there is no point in just having supply without demand. And from the government, it's our responsibility to create the demand, which is clearly laid out in the policy as
well. Thank you, Madhusoodhanan. I think there are no questions. Yes, okay, there is one question. Dr. Shaumun, you can please go ahead. Sure. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I am really impressed with this extensive presentation a state actually is making and related to space. I just wanted to ask you, sir, about, what is the estimate, like short term and long term, about the generation of space economy? Is there any estimate that you made that, such and such space economy generation or employment generation, which is going to happen because of the space policy? Because you mentioned about this long term policies as well as short-term policies. This really impress you. Along with the adjacent question is like, you said about the various courses. Are you thinking about framing specific courses related to the space, which actually help boost to the upstream demand as well as supply? So is there any plans like that from your side? Thank you.
Okay, let me take question one by one. The first question is about the numbers. What is the target we have, sort of thing? Yes, here, while we did a study, but our entire numbers are based on what the decadal vision, which was commissioned by ISRO to study the decadal vision of in space, which is there. So the numbers, we don't have the required knowledge, or we don't have the wherewithal to cross-verify the numbers. We are sticking to the numbers which have been laid down in the decadal policy, decadal vision of the government of India. So there's nothing. But within that, what we planned as per part of our policy is that we as a state, our scope of play is very limited. So what we have said is, in the next 10 years, we have to attract an investment of 10,000 crores and create 10,000 jobs. That's the target we set for ourselves. And this should be within the larger number established by the government of India. So that is something, and this is a modest target we have set, but I'm very sure that we will be able to cross that. Second question is about the skilling part. Yes, we have a framework, and this is not something which we are going to try. We are going to be enablers, and where we are going to seek the help from the space related industries. Whatever is the skilling which is needed, we are going to capture that, and that capturing will be curated to courses which will be offered to the right set of people at selected colleges. In fact, let's say if there's one particular industry which says that I want people only from certain university in the state, we will offer that there, or we can choose it. So it is something, again, we are going to be an enabler where the requirements are going to be captured. We will drive it, but the requirements are going to come from the industry. We are going to get it delivered through the industry partners and create a huge pool of resources cut across midstream, downstream, and upstream. So it is not that we have worked out a syllabus which we are going to, of course, we are going to take ISRO's help. We are primarily here, it's going to be the industry which is going to drive it.
May I ask one more question? It's
Yes,
like, I have visited this Raman Research Park. It's a aerial, very fantastic facility for the general industries. There only Agnikul and other companies also originated. Similar in lines with that, do you have any plans to start a space park or exclusive space park, or like, in different space parks in different places of the state, because state already has a lot of other infrastructure. That is one thing. Another thing is, already some kind of infrastructure is set up in other states, like as you rightly said, maybe Hyderabad's launch facility is there. In Kerala, you have the other, like, launch vehicle facilities there, or Ahmedabad, you have this satellite facility, URS, it is there in Bangalore. So then, do you have any plans to connect these facilities for the industry? And in that way, because if government initiates such kind of things like starting such kind of parks and things like that, because I don't know whether I missed that portion in the policy, maybe I'll read later, then that would be a wonderful thing for the industry at a large, because that will lead to generation of lot of space economic activities. Thank you.
I did answer this question during my presentation. Space parks, yes, we are going to create. To start with, we are creating space parks, space industrial parks, which will have a museum. Everything is going to be there in that, because we have identified land parcels of more than 3,000 acres. So it's going to be large. It's going to have right from auditoriums to common manufacturing facilities, AITs, everything is going to be there, including training centers. And we, as I said, we do not have the knowledge. So we are going to bank on InSpace. InSpace is going to guide us through whatever the common facilities are needed. So InSpace is, we are going to blindly follow them. And when InSpace is going to, I hope that InSpace is going to provide the required connectivity with the existing facilities in Ahmedabad or in Bangalore or in Sriharikota, or even the facilities that have been created in the space park of Kerala at Trivandrum. So that is something which we are going to do. But we are very clear it's going to be driven by the industry and in space. We are just going to be facilitators. And though we say that initially we are going to start with 2 industrial parks, it may extend further depending on the demand. Let's take an example of Space Florida. The entire Space Florida is a state government entity there, and it's created multiple launch pads, multiple parks, industrial parks. So we have a vision like that of Space Florida, but it's only time is going to say how much we progress in that. Okay, I see a question in the chat window.
Yes. Baljinder Singh, if you're there, you can ask your question. Unmute and ask, Baljinder. Okay, I'll read out the question for everybody's benefit. The question is, in Tamil Nadu, there are already space companies which are integral to the state, but are there any specific space sector companies that you are targeting? And what do you think the space companies already, which are there in the states like Karnataka and Telangana, would they be happy to shift to Tamil Nadu? That's the question by Baljinder Singh.
Okay. This is a wonderful question. See, I would love to, since I am on the payroll of Government of Tamil Nadu, I would love to have all the industries moving to Tamil Nadu. But let's be practical. So it's a choice of the companies where they want to be. The companies are the best judges. Wherever they want to exist, let them exist wherever they want. But let me flip the coin other side. Let's say a company is making rockets in Hyderabad, and for launching them, they have to drag their rockets measuring more than 10 meters long with a diameter of at least 2.5 meters all the way to Kulasegarapatnam, which is the southern tip of Tamil Nadu. Isn't it going to be a logistical nightmare? Isn't it going to be a cost? Isn't it going to be costly? And what about the supply chain inefficiencies? Let's say a company has got a launch window of something, and if it's going to go earlier, what's going to happen? If it's going to go slow, what's going to happen? Let me take an example of solid propellants. If the solid propellants are going to be shifted from Nagpur or Hyderabad all the way up to Thoothukudi, what's going to happen on the route? It's going to be a huge problem. So we would encourage everyone to go and establish themselves right next to the spaceport so that they can operate in comfort. However, I would target all companies, but it is finally the choice of the companies to remain wherever they are, or to create additional facilities in Tamil Nadu, or completely shift lock, stock and barrel to Tamil Nadu. It doesn't mean that we are competing with someone. We are not going to deplete anyone. It is just that logistical convenience, which the companies are the best judges. Let them decide.
We have a raised hand by Farhana Firdaus. Please go ahead with your question. Unmute and go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. So I'm a PhD scholar from ISpA. So I'd like to know, will there be any dedicated funding or fellowship schemes for PhD scholars and researchers working in satellite and space communications technology? Me personally work in reflect arrays and orbital angular momentum beams generation.
Okay. To be frank enough, as it stands now, I have not included financial support for PhDs or researchers done out of Government of Tamil Nadu funds. I have not put it a line in the policy, but your input is valid. Fortunately, we can tap into other funds for research, which is available from the Higher Education Department of Tamil Nadu government or other things, which can be tapped into for supporting this. But let me make it very clear. Since you are in the academia, there is something called a syllabus, something called as out of syllabus. Anything which falls outside the geographical boundary of Tamil Nadu would be out of syllabus for us. What we spend, in case we do it, we would definitely support something which is done in government, in the Tamil Nadu universities, Tamil Nadu based universities, but the probability of us supporting something which happens outside is limited. Let me be frank enough. Though the boundaries are man-made, the boundaries are thin dotted lines, but still there's something called a syllabus and something called as out of syllabus. So definitely BITS Pilani would be out of syllabus for us.
Okay, thank you.
A question in the chat box by Aditya Varaskar. He says, does this policy cover anything for the companies abroad or international companies?
Okay. We do not differentiate whether it's a company's domestic, we do not, or international. As long as Government of India regulations permit a company to operate from India, we would support them if they are in Tamil Nadu.
Same question.
I don't see any more hands raised, and there are no more questions in the chat box.
Okay, nice.
Yes, one more question has come up. This is from Rahul Grover. Does the majority of the support or policy focus on launch or manufacturing space equipments? Is that the focus?
Okay. Yes and no. The answer for that would be yes and no. Yes, because one of the core thing around which why we try to attract the industries to Tamil Nadu is the biggest geographical advantage which the state possesses is the new launch pad which is coming up. So anything that is predominantly going to be on the upstream. So it may appear that the majority of support policy focuses on the upstream. However, we are not stopping that. The policy is being made so that support is provided for midstream as well as the downstream as well. However, the upstream is an easy, low-hanging fruit. So it may appear the policy is biased towards that. As a matter of fact, partially it's true, but it's everything, all the three segments are covered. In fact, I would suggest, I can quote an example. OneWeb wanted to establish their ground station. And when they reached out to us, within 1 year, from the first time they reached out to the time it become operational, it's ready to launch, it's ready to function. Only thing is they are waiting for the frequency allocation from Government of Tamil Nadu, Government of India. Apart from that, close to Thoothukudi, they have already established their ground station. Ground segment is already established with almost 30 antras. It's ready to be, it's powered on without frequencies. So it is not that we focus only on that. We focus on everything, but the most visible part is the upstream, for which we have a natural advantage thanks to the spaceport. That's it.
Okay, there are no more questions. So thank you, Madhusoodhanan, and we appreciate your enthusiasm with which you have answered all the questions. In the end, I'll request DG ISpA to give his concluding remarks, please.
So in our series of these talks we are fortunate today to have Wing Commander Madhusoodhanan, who has given us a detail on the Tamil Nadu policy. And I should compliment you that you start with the first one to bat to give a presentation to our members, as well as, of course, as you say, a comprehensive state space policy has been taken out by you. For us in ISpA and on behalf of all the industry, this state policy is music to our ears. Last 1 month has been really nice to us because following you up, there are a number of other states also who have declared the intention to take out state policies. That, well, of course, that will put a challenge for you. But us in the space industry, we are so happy with states now taking on to help and support the space industry to grow in India. I should quote the previous chairman of ISRO, who once said that space in India from ISRO today has become a space enterprise. And the space enterprise, what he defined was consisted of ISRO, the public and the private sector companies, the startups and the academia. And if I have the liberty, I would say now another important element which has joined the space enterprise is the state governments. And we welcome you leading that by taking out your policy. One thing which came out very clearly from what you have told us about the policy is the unique advantage which your state has. One, because of Sriharikota just being a stone's throw. In fact, the airhead for Sriharikota is Chennai. The unique location in proximity to Bangalore, Trivandrum, and Sriharikota. And of course, you have taken a lead over others by having the second spaceport. And in fact, the private spaceport, it is supposed to be at Kulasekharapattinam, which is going to come there. And of course, also, you mentioned already, OneWeb, they've established their first Earth station for low Earth orbit communication in India and your state. And not to forget, one of our main founder members, L&T, is well located at Coimbatore. With all this, I'm very sure the opportunities you will provide to private sector will attract many of the space companies and startups to your state. And of course, the challenge with you will be the financial incentives which other states are giving. And you may have to maybe review what you are offering in terms of financial incentives to make your policy the best. Once again, my special thank you to you to start this new idea in India of a state space policy and the effort of your state to help space industry to grow in India. I finish here. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you to all our audience for being around. And I'll request all of you to unmute and give a round of applause to our speaker. Thank you, Commander Madhusoodhanan.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was a real honor to address such a wonderful gathering. My apologies for the background noise. It's raining in Bangalore. I'm sitting inside the car in the rain. So there is an additional noise. And thanks a lot for bearing with this.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.
No.